Hello and welcome to bobsleatherworks.com. I'm Bob, and you are looking at a Singer 95-1 that rolled out of the factory, some Singer factory, probably in Bridgeport, back in 8/28/1919. This is my machine, my test machine, and she sews like a charm when she's all put together. So she's 6 years shy of being 100 years old. She is one of 10,000 that came off the production floor at the Singer factory back then in 1919. And she is one beautiful rolling sewing machine. Now right now she doesn't have a belt on her. And the original belts were made out of leather, probably horsehide. I don't think cowhide would have stood up very long against the oil and the high speed. But now I've developed belts made out of synthetic material. So this is a synthetic conveyor belt gasket type material, and I have developed them and have figured out a way to get them back into these machines and get them running again. If you have a 95-1 with no belt on it, then you know exactly what I mean. It's useless to you. Now I have prepped this installation by already taking off needle plate, feed dog. Take the needle out definitely, because as soon as the machine is out of time and you run that needle bar up and down like this and that hook is just standing still, needle's going to come down and break off on it. So if your machine is out of time, you have no belt on it, always not have a needle in it. And of course the foot's off too. So let's take a look at the underside of the machine, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to get this belt back on this machine. Okay. And the general reason why we have to take apart the bottom end and that we just can't roll the new belt onto the lower pulley, upper and lower pulley, is because of the tensions involved. So this is the lower main shaft. Just a little skinny 1/4 inch, it's not even almost 1/4 inch wide. And this is the hook end. And let's zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to have to tilt down as well. So let's do that. Swing over a little bit. And zoom down some more. Get a little closer. Okay. And let's point out a few things so you'll understand what we're going to be doing. Remember, it's always easy when you know how. So this screw right here is holding this piece, which comes around and engages the face of the hook. It tabs into the face of the whole hook assembly to keep it stable, while, as you see, the outer portion rolls around it, and you can see, if you look real carefully, you can see the tab set inside it, holding it in place. This piece has to come out because we have to push the hook this way. And when we loosen these 3 set screws, 1, 2, 3, then the hook will slide off the shaft. And once we've done that, then we're going to go down and take off the rear belt guard, the lower belt guard, and the lower pulley. So let's get started right now. Okay. Get yourself a standard blade screwdriver and start undoing it. And when I get both parts off of here, I'll give you a slightly better look at how they engage each other when they're on the machine. A word about set screws. The screws that are on the hook and the screws that are on the pulley in the back are set screws. So you never ever take out a set screw. All you do is loosen it enough to get it off. I have already done a little bit of pre-loosening on these guys right here, but I'm double checking. Now this one is still tight. So let's loosen you up. I'll roll this over, and yep, that one's loose. And let's check you. This one needs to be a little loosened. And that screwdriver wouldn't do it. I'm holding on to the pulley over here to stabilize it. Now, hook is spinning free, and the shaft is not turning. So, I've taken out the screw up here. Let's get this guy pried out. There it comes, right there. Okay. And that tab is going to hit the center post in the hook. So we need to pry it until it comes clear, and there's the piece right there. Okay, let me give you a good look at it. There's that tab right there. Okay, and this is tapered and fits up into this piece in here, and when we put it back in again, I'll give you an angle so you can see it. But generally speaking, it goes right up in there. Okay. Now, the hook is loose, and there's nothing in the way to stop it, so let's see if we can get it off. Now, if we have to, we're going to need to pull on the shaft a little bit, and off she came. Just enough clearance to get it in and out. Okay, 3 set screws. The 3 set screws are still in place. Okay, here's the face of the hook, right there. This is the point that grabs onto the thread right there as it comes around, and you'll see it later when we retime the machine. This is the bobbin lock spot right here, where my fingertip is. Here, right there. That's the bobbin lock spot. And this is the top of the hook face that is engaged by this tab. So when it's in the machine, it sits just like this. Okay, and it sits in there like that. So when we put back the machine, that's the way it's going to go. Right in there. Alright, so we're going to set these parts aside and get down to the other end of the machine. So all I'm going to do is tables on sliders. Makes it easy to move around because it's on carpet. So let's get down to the other end of the machine. And let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, come around some more so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. You tilt down just a hair. You're almost looking straight on at the machine right now. Okay. Here's the belt, which is not in the shot. Okay, here comes the lower belt guide. This upper screw and this lower screw. You get them both loose. Okay. Okay. Here we go. The screws come out. This machine has been apart and put back together again more times than I can remember now, so she's real easy to do. Yours may be tight and you may need lots of liquid wrench to get things moving. There's the lower belt guide. The top part, or this piece right here, it's not really the top, but when you're looking at the machine sitting level from the back, the left side, this one here, takes the longer screw and goes into, which is also the foot for the machine when it's standing up. This one on the bottom has a bend in it, so the shorter screw goes in it. Again, if the machine was sitting upright and you're looking at it from the rear, it would be on the right. So we're going to put these guys aside over here. Alright, now the last thing we're going to take off is this pulley. Okay, we need to get it loose and off the shaft. Shaft is not going to come out. So let's get these screws, these set screws loose, which I actually believe they may be. Let's grab onto the shaft and make sure that screw is loose, and This set screw is loose. Okay, that means we're going to have to tap it out because it's grabbing on real tight. I'm going to reach across and get a small little tack hammer, something like this. Okay. You can, if you have a bronze hammer, that'll be good too. So what you want to do is get your screwdriver, which is going to be the same diameter or less than the shaft, so you can get through here, and tap through the shaft, okay, until it is loose. And there it goes, it's off. Now, a point to be made. Let me show you something about this pulley. It's not flat on the back, it's recessed. See the recess? Right there. There's the recess. There are the two set screws. Right? And there are the cogs on the pulley. When we bring the belt through and we engage this into the belt, when it comes back around to go on here, I want you to have that protruding, because we're going to get it back on here again, and then we're going to go to the other end of the shaft and tap it back through so it comes out here. Right now it's in a perfect spot, see, to engage this piece. And what we may very well do, because this is going to be under quite a bit of tension when the belt is on it, is that we're going to put the screwdriver in here, guide it on here, and use it to guide onto here. And you will see that again later when we actually have the belt on the machine, or we're putting the belt on the machine. So now we're going to take a pause. I'm going to reset the shot and come up to the top back of the machine where the hand wheel is. And right now you can see that we took off the hook, we took off the back pulley, and we are ready to take off the top back part of the machine with the hand wheel and get the belt inside. So hang in there for what will be just a second for you and a couple of minutes for me. Hang in. Okay, we are at the back of the machine. A couple of things I want to show you about this assembly right here. You have two set screws again, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. They are already loose. But this piece right here, this screw, is kind of a lock in a way. It's not really an expansion screw, but it just fills the end of the main shaft and will put some friction on the back of the pulley. So this is an important screw. It's not an expansion screw, but it is a kind of a lock and finishes off the end of the machine. Everything you see from this era is going to be designed this way, like a 3115 is an example. It's all going to have the same stuff. So let's put that screw aside. Now, these are already loose, and I'm going to slip them off, and we're going to need the hand wheel to work the belt around and hold it in place while we're installing it. One thing to remember about this is the pulley end, and it goes out. Okay, it's tempting to put it back on this way when the hand wheel part of it is on the outside, but that's not the case with this machine. Goes on like this. Simanco, if you hadn't figured it out already, stands for Singer Manufacturing Company. Simanco. There it is. So let's put the hand wheel right down here below us, and we will need it. This screw is large, but it's deceptive in the sense that it's only holding something very light. This screw is holding the little oil sliding pond, that's what I call it. When you put oil in the top of the machine, there are two holes up here which are hard to see because the machine is black and the angle you're looking at it. But the rear hole is smaller, and that is the screw hole for the screw I just took out. The one in front of it is large, and it has it takes oil in and goes into the back end of the main bearing bushing, the upper main bearing bushing. So I'm going to put the little oil sliding pond aside, and we're going to get into this. Now there is a set screw over here on this side which you can't see, but it is perfect for a screwdriver this size. And you want to back that out, but not take it out. And if you find that you can't get this out real easily with your fingers, then put a pipe wrench on it with a piece of leather on here, or a grip pliers, same thing, and wiggle it and dump some liquid wrench in here as well. We're searching for, or silicone, spray silicone, liquid wrench, whatever you've got, let it break, and you will find that this is not threaded, it will just slip out. Now, a word about this bushing while we have it out and it's in my hand. There's a slot up here that has 3 holes in it down below this cotton that I packed in here, because when I got mine out there was nothing in there. Some of it had been in there before, and Singer always packed some kind of a material, a cotton, or you can use felt, and fill up this slot, and that it will receive the oil from this hole on top, and then transfer it down to the main shaft, which is so loose I can turn it with my hand. These are the 2 slots that receive the set screw, 1 and 2. Okay, so put the bearing, the main bushing aside, and it'll be coming back very shortly. Now the machine is open, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean it over and open up the shot, and if I have to, I'll go to pause and okay, there we are. Well, it's not too bad. Let's get the machine over like this. Let's zoom it out a little bit. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Alright, here comes the belt. There's the belt. Now, right at the glue point, which you can find right there, there's the glue point on this belt. Get it into the middle, like that. Then squeeze it down and slip it right into this large opening underneath the shaft. And this is highlighting where the whole groove is. So, put it in most of the way. Make yourself, okay, here it is. Make yourself a hook of some kind out of a wire hanger like this one. Reach in there and grab onto the belt and just gently get it down to the bottom of the machine. Okay. Now this is up here, that's down there. Okay. Squeeze it together, get it into the slot right there. Okay. Okay. Bring it around, keep pulling down on it. This is very stiff material. Okay. And work it down to where, and you don't have to be gentle about it, but force it into the curve on this slot. It will go, and there it is. Now, when you get it to this point, there is a edge here that the screwdriver is hitting. Just part of the way the machine has been machined, and you get all those machines out of my mouth, and push it over that bump and get it in. And once it's in there, it's in there. Alright, belt is inside the machine now. Next thing you need to do, okay, is get the hand wheel back onto, pull it back up again, enough that you can keep your fingers on it. Okay, get the hand wheel right here back onto, okay, and you may just want to run down a set screw so it can engage the upper main shaft a little better. Work that belt up onto the pulley. I'm experienced with this, I have a lot of practice, so I can feel that it's already on there and it's engaging the cogs on the larger upper pulley. And to prove that to you, if I put tension on here like this and turn the hand wheel, you can see the belt turning. Just like that. Now I need to reset the shot. so we can have a nice close-up of putting the belt onto the smaller pulley down below. So you hang on for a minute and I'm going to reset the shot. Alright, here we go with the trickiest part of this process. Here is the lower pulley. Remember I told you that I wanted you to have about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch of the main shaft coming out of this guide piece that's on the frame of the machine, underneath the base plate. So we need tension on here from your finger. I'm turning the hand wheel right now and it's turning. That little 45 right there just told me that. I double checked it. It's got 45 sets of holes. This belt needs to be twisted once and go onto the pulley and then re-engaged onto the main shaft, the lower main shaft. So here we go. We twist the belt and we set in the pulley. Okay, work it with your fingers. There it is. It's in. There they are. They're in. You can see the nibs coming through. There are the set screws. We are going to put a turn on this. I'm holding it from both ends down below. Put a turn on it. I'm pulling on it now. And as soon as you can do it, get your screwdriver into, here we go, get your screwdriver into the back of the pulley, just like that. Now, you have a natural ability, okay, to take that screwdriver and put it underneath the base plate and put a pull on it. Okay, and let's work this on here. When you feel it go, you will feel it go. And it's a fight, but there it almost had it. See, it's through too far. I do believe it's on there, but not enough. Let's do a little tapping here to see if we can get it on. There it is. I think I've got it. I'm tapping this through. That's not moving. So I think we are successful here. Okay. Right now, I am seeing about 1/16 of an inch of the shaft. Okay. I need a little bit more. Alright, that's good for now. There it is. The belt is back on the machine. So I'm going to turn the hand wheel, and there it goes. Just like that. You're going to feel a lot of resistance, but no more than is necessary, or no more than will hurt the machine. Eventually you will see, or bind the machine is a better word, you will see that when we finally get everything put back together again and we put her on a motor, she will run. But there it is right there. It's settling in. I can feel it settling on. And put your hand underneath just to check. I've got my hand through the rear opening and I can feel that the belt is in place. The belt's back on the machine. The trickiest part was to line up the hole in the pulley, catch it onto the end of this piece that was sticking out, and then tap it through, and then when you'll feel it engage and pull around, and then you'll know. So watch that part quite a bit and then you'll get the idea. Now, this is out about, see it's moving? Right there it's moving. So you want to keep that loose. Don't put the belt guide back on yet, because first I want to re-engage the hook. So let's go down there and do that. And don't tighten up these screws either yet. Just let it be, and we'll come back here and we'll tighten all of that up later. So now we're coming around back toward the hook. So let's just twist this over. And there we are. I'm going to get a slightly better angle so I can show you. Here, let's do this. Alright, I think that's enough right there. Alright. Okay. Little point to tell you about. There's a cutback slot, or a key slot, right on the end of this main shaft. And there are two impressions, or one impression really, one impression from a set screw. And I believe that the way the machine is designed is that when the hook is on here correctly and the machine is timed properly, one of the set screws hits this piece right here. Although you can't see it when it goes in, but that's just the way the machine is designed. Alright, here we go. Here is the hook again. Remember, this is the piece, or this is the place where we're going to engage that stop right here. So let's get the hook back on the machine. And if we have to, we're going to pull back on the shaft. That's why I told you not to do anything with the lower belt guide. And there we go. Hook's back on, but it is freely moving right now. I had to grab onto the pulley and pull the shaft back out, and now we're going to push it forward. Okay, and there it is. Alright, here comes the stop motion piece. It goes up in here, and you want to get it past the center post, and you need to find this thing right here and engage it as your thumb presses it up into place. You also will probably need a screwdriver to push it, just like I did, right upward. You saw it go up, it's still going up. Alright, and the test will be the screw. This screw goes right in here. And if it slips in there like that and goes in the first time, you're a lucky guy or gal. And you want that to be snug as a bug in a rug. There it is, right there. Alright, now this is holding the hook right where it needs to be. It can have a small amount of play, not a lot of play, but there it is right there. It is holding the hook in place, and the hook can go around freely. Now, these won't get tightened up again until we go to retime the machine. Now that that is in there, I want you to go back and put your finger on the hook and tap over on the main shaft, not on the collar of the pulley, but on the main shaft, and tap it back into the hook. And you will feel it vibrate right through your fingers when that shaft comes in there. Reason is that you want to take the play that can be present between the back of the collar of the hook and the frame of the machine. You do not want to have a big opening there. You want that as tight as possible. And that is why I'm double checking it, making sure that it's in there all the way. Just like that. There it is, right there. Okay. Good job, Bob. Alright, now you can turn the belt down, okay, and look for your 2 set screws on your lower pulley, right there, and tighten up those screws. You're not seeing it, but that's what I'm doing. I'm tightening up the set screws on the back pulley. Okay. Now, the shaft is moving inside the hook. Hook can't move because the set screws are loose. So, again, I'll show you what I just did. Alright, I just tightened up this set screw and the other one right there like that, and I'm turning the hand wheel in the direction of how the machine sews. Right there, just like that. Okay. Alright, now we're going to put the upper portion of the machine back together again. And I'll go through that real fast, so you hang on and I'll be back in 1 sec. Alright, almost forgot. Now that these set screws are redone, let's put this back on again. Lower pulley belt guide. We don't need you anymore. So here we go. Long screw goes in this one right here. Okay. Short screw goes, wrong screwdriver. Short screw goes right in here. And as being a bear, there we go. Alright, we have both screws in, tightening up. Okay. Alright, now you can see that there's some pretty small clearance here. This was ground out with a Dremel and a grinder of some type. And let me slip on the hand wheel so you can see what's going on down here. See, that's a tight clearance, but it helps keep the belt right where it needs to be as it's going around the bottom. Because the twist that's on the belt puts a torque on it. So, make sure that when you grind yours out, if you need to, that you come back off these tips that way on both sides. So when the belt's going around, it doesn't catch on them. Alright, so this shot happens to be perfect for me leaning back the machine, and boom, there's the back of the machine. There's my Singer 95 one plate right there. So let's get this a little bit over here. Okay, and off the hand wheel comes for the time being. Now, here is the little oil sliding pond piece. It goes right upside down. Goes right in there like this. Here is its screw. Again, it is the smaller screw, screw hole, closer to you. Being a bear today. There it goes, right there. Okay. There it is, right there. You're going to want to squeeze this, get it centered, and tighten it down. Just like that. Now, here comes the next tricky part. While you have this out, okay, squeeze yourself some oil in here. Oil can's not here, but it already has some oil in it. So that is your upper main bearing, main shaft, sorry, not bearing, main shaft bushing. And this is going to be a little bit of a bear to get back in here again. There's a lot of tension on this shaft right now, pulling it down. It is not in the center of the hole. So slip this on here, and you can see that there's a nice sized gap right there that I can get the screwdriver in. Here's how you're going to get this back on here again. Center it up, put your thumb under it, force it in, or force it upward, okay, and work it in. And it might be a fight, but it will go in. There it is right there. It just clicked in. And what I'm going to do, it's in there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap it in. And if you want to use a piece of leather to do it with, then be my guest. I have a lot of leather right below my feet. So get it up here, put a piece of leather or something on there, and tap it back in. Okay. And the way you know that it's in all the way are two ways. Number one, when you put the shaft back on, okay, you will see that there's only about 1/8 of an inch right here left exposed, so that when you put this screw back on it again, it'll have something to squeeze. So now it's in there all the way. Number two, the set screw on the side has to engage the slot. So let's see if it does it. And there it goes. It's in there. Yep, it's in all the way. So now the last step is put this pulley back on there again, or next to last step. Net this pulley back in here and run the set screws down just a little bit. There is a lot of tension on this right now. Okay, here comes this lock screw, if you want to call it that. Some people call it an expansion screw, but it's not really expanding anything. Alright, now there it goes onto the shaft. Just gently tighten it down. Okay, machine's turning. It's got a lot of tension on it. You'll feel it. Okay, finish tightening down the pulley set, these pulley hand wheel set screws like that. Okay, it's turning. Now I'm going to do a test. Okay. Belt's on there. Let's get this machine back onto a drive pulley. And I'm going to reset a shot and show you the belt running around on the machine. Hang in there for one more sec. Alright, here we go. I have a pretty powerful, quiet, relatively new clutch motor on here. So she will overcome any resistance on the machine that the belt is providing. So here we go. There it is, starting out slow. I'm doing that on purpose. Okay. And there's that sound. Alright, the machine is going again. or rolling again, not sewing again, but it's rolling again. Alright, there she goes. That little click you heard was a set screw come flying out. We gotta find out where it came from. So that was a good test on the belt. So hang on for another shot coming. Alright, here we are back at the front of the machine, and just showed you that the belt that's on here is running, it's working. And I'm going to show you how to retime the machine, and we're going to sew with her. But there isn't enough time on this tape to get it all on one, so it'll be a part 1 and a part 2 on retiming the machine. So hang in there, or go look for, is really what to say, go look for part 2 on retiming a 95-1, a Singer 95-1. But that's it for installing the belt. If you have any questions, look on the end titles, send me an email, call me if you want to, and I'll help you get your Singer 95-1 running again. So thanks for watching this part of the video, and that's it. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, we are back, and now we are going to retime the hook to the needle. And rather than do it as a separate video where you would see 2 of them on YouTube next to each other, hopefully, I decided to edit this portion of the video on the 95-1 and just tag it on to the part that I made first about putting the belt back on the machine. So you've all got one video here. Now I went ahead and put a needle back into the machine because sometimes it can be a little tricky and I don't want to waste any time doing it. So I have it set now the way it's supposed to be. The scarf that's on the needle, little slight cutout part, faces to the right, faces toward the arm. Has to be all the way up in here. Screw nice and tight. This is an 88x1 needle. That's its class, 88x1. And this is a size 18 opening because I'm using 69, size 69 bonded nylon thread, which is very much like upholstery thread when you buy it at Coats & Clark's. Here's the thread. And just so you know, although I could have shown you this earlier, or a different spot on that, not earlier, they need to slip and go back and forth nice and easy. So I just threaded this needle with this thread, and that's how quick and easy it goes on. Alright, here we go. Now that we have a belt on the machine, we can turn the hand wheel, and the needle goes down. And as it goes down, you hit a low point, and so much tension on the machine that's moving from the belt. And as you get it to its lowest point, turning the wheel forward toward you, okay, that's the feed dog piece moving back and forth, we are going to get the needle to the lowest point, and then as it starts to come back up, that is when the hook has to come into the scarf. And I showed you this earlier. There is the hook point right there. And it is coming right through the scarf point right now, just like that. And when you get it right to that point, right there, put your left finger on it. I'm going to have to cover this up right there. and get yourself a screwdriver, and you're going to find one of the screws will be facing up where you can put a screwdriver on it, and out of one out of the three, I want you to tighten it down, and now we're going to do a test. Again, I'm going to back up, just like that, and needle comes through, or the point comes through the needle as it's going up. The hook just missed the needle as it was coming around, and that's a good sign. And as the needle comes up and the hook comes around, when it comes down, because it only picks it up on the second stroke, it's going to go right through and down into the opening to pick up the thread. And here comes the hook point again, and right through. And I just retimed it in one shot because I've done it so many times. But this is what you want to see when it comes through. Now you can look in there and you can see it come right across the top of the eye. Get your head over there, look for the hole in the needle, the eye of the needle, and as it comes around, okay, it comes right through the needle. Now that you have done that, okay, get your screwdriver in here and tighten up the other two screws. This one here, turn it toward you. Next screw will show up. Get it tight. Okay. Turn it toward you again, and this one should already be tight, but tighten it again. Also, when you've got everything put back together again and the machine is rocked back on its hinges, you can get into a different angle and tighten them again. But if your screwdriver is short enough and you can get enough torque on there, you want these screws very tight up against the shaft. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm coming back in from a quick pause I didn't tell you about before I went out because I wanted to recenter the shot and show you a little bit better angle on how we're going to test this timing. Now, as I finished up a moment ago, we tightened up all the screws on the hook. 1, 2, 3. There they are. So here it comes back out again, and the best way to test your timing once you've done it is to turn your motor back on before you put all of these parts back on again. You want to make sure that your needle isn't going to hit any part of the hook, and you'll have wasted your time putting all those parts back on again, bead dog and the needle plate and so on, and you're not in time yet. So again, the needle comes through, and as it's coming back out, starting to lift up again, the hook comes in, comes right across the top of the eye of the needle, picks up the thread, and does its thing. So here we're going to do it at speed with the motor. This is slow, that's slow sewing for a clutch motor, and here's fast. This is also a test to make sure all your screws are tight. Nothing shakes loose. There you go. Okay. Now, in the interest of time and the fact that this is a tight shot, I'm going to put bead dog and needle plate back on again while I'm in pause, and the foot too, because otherwise my hands are going to cover up everything. You're not going to see me doing anything anyway. So we're going back into pause. When we come back, the machine will be put back together again on top, and then we'll do some things with the bobbin. Okay, we are back with a reset shot. Here's the hook, here's a bobbin case, and here's the bobbin loaded up with the same thread that's going to be on the needle side of things. Now, as you see, I just rolled the thread onto the bobbin facing off to the right. Sometimes it's hard to figure out the drawings in the instruction booklet, so you're going to see one here on video on how to load up a bobbin case. So here we go. It is facing to the right. Here is your bobbin. This is the latch spring right here, and this is the top of the bobbin, this open U, and this piece right here is the little nibber that goes into the hook and will lock into here, and you're going to hear a click off of this post. Now, when you load a bobbin, you load it into a case this way so that the thread is going to roll off of it to the right. So, see this slot? That's where she goes. Up underneath the spring, this is the tension spring on a bobbin case. These two screws. The one that's back here that doesn't have the additional larger circle around it is the attachment screw. This spring can come off the bobbin case. But this one is the tension screw, and I'm not going to turn it because it's set perfectly right now for sewing on this machine. So you draw your thread underneath the spring, around and into the opening at the end of the spring. Then you turn your bobbin around, get the latch facing this direction up here, and set her onto the hook. Okay? And if all goes well, you're going to be primed. Now listen for the click. There it is. One more time. I want you to hear this click when you put a bobbin back into your case. Just like that. And then the string is the thread is hanging out just like this. And you want it to be extended out underneath the slider on the left. So now you will close up your machine, bring it back down. Now I have to reset the shot, which I just did right there. Okay, and there is bobbin thread hanging out. So I'm going to widen up and do a quick primer on how to thread the machine, and I'm also going to go and get a piece of suede, which I don't have right now, to show you how she sews on a sewing test. So hang in there for half a sec. Alright, a lot looser now on the shot, and I'm going to show you how to thread this machine in case you don't already know. Those of you that know, just play along. Here is the spool pin if you don't have any place else to put your thread and you're only dealing with small spools. But there's a larger spool of 69 thread here. I have a little thread stand in the back, and thread comes down and comes through the upper hole, which is, there's only one of them on these machines, one hole on this spool pin. Then you come down here, and I think what I'll do without going into pause is just tighten up a little bit. So bear with me for half a sec while I tighten up and swing over. Here we go. Alright. This piece is called an unwinder. Has 3 holes in it. Start on the back hole from the top. Okay. Work your way around. 1, 2, 3, and down. Take up the slack. so that this is hanging over the top of the machine. Now you've got about 18 inches or more down here. Now have your foot controller up so that the tension discs are generally opened. Bring it around. Okay. I lost it because I was looking at the monitor. Alright, there we go. Bring it around. And then onto the take-up spring. Underneath this thread guide right here. Just like that. Okay, and then under this thread guide or back up here. Okay, hard to see because it's black. Okay, and then bring your take-up right up to the top and run her through there. Okay, now we need a little more thread to bring her through. Alright, now there is another thread guide right here that is part of the front face plate. Snap it through. Okay, it's tight. Then there's a looper down here, which is just on the bottom of the shot, and back through. Let's tilt down just a little bit, and there it is. You can even zoom in on it. These two guys right here, just like that here. There you go. Coming through the unwinder, through there, up to the top, down on that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and down to here. And then we can set this shot up for catching the bobbin thread, just like that. Okay, so here we are, we've got this through. Now we have to bring the foot down, reestablishes the tension on the discs above, and the tip of the needle is showing. So I know my hand is covering it, but I just got it through the eye. Okay, I'm going to raise this back up again, and now it's threaded through the needle. Okay, here comes the big test. Put tension back on here. Keep your eye on this thread right here. There it is right there. And I am going to hold on to the upper thread, and I'm going to run the needle down with the hand wheel, and she is going to pick up the bobbin thread, and there it is. When you see that loop, you know you've got it. Okay, you've got a timed machine that will sew. So get a screwdriver or a seam ripper or whatever it is you need to catch on to that loop, and get your threads together. Pull them back through the foot to the back like that. I'm going to cut, I have a lot of extra, so I'm going to cut it off and leave about 6 inches on both sides. And I just scooped up a piece of scrap suede. Suede is very, very tough stuff, and as you can see, it's a good 1/8 of an inch thick, and it's very, very dense. This is the real thing. So here we go. Here's your sewing test right now. You have a new belt on the machine, and you got a retimed hook, and belts on the pulley, and here we go. Love that sound. There she goes. Okay, no reverse, so we just turn her around. Quick shot. There's the back side of the sewing right there. No skip stitches. Nice, perfect sound for a machine of this era. Sewing like a champ. Okay. Couldn't be better. We just went through the whole sequence of putting a new belt on this machine. Then we retimed the hook, put her back together again, and there she goes. Couldn't be better. Alright, there it is right there. Let's bring this around, you can get a better look at it. Alright, and just so you think this is all she can sew, watch this. I'm going to double it up. Just like that. Remember, this is the bottom thread from the other side. Here she goes, right over the top. No hesitation whatsoever. Okay. Back to single thickness. That's it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen your Singer 95-1 back in action, or my Singer 95-1. This can be your machine too. So if you want to get a belt from me to give to your shop, to show them, to tell them how to get it back on the machine, tell them to look for the video on YouTube. If you're a good do-it-yourselfer, you've got some tools, you're not afraid to get into machinery, you can do this yourself and save yourself some money at the shop. But if you want a qualified sewing machine technician, which I do recommend actually, to get your sewing machine back in proper time and make sure everything's tight and going good, then give your belt, once you buy it from me, to your sewing machine technician and tell him about the video. Unless he already knows how to put it on, then everything will be fine. So that's it. I'm glad you tuned in and watched the video. Thanks for watching, and again, if you want to get a belt, you'll find the information on how to order a belt from me directly if you want on the end title of the video, or you can look on eBay and search Singer 95-1 and you will see the listing for this belt. Thanks for watching and have a great day.